you see, if a minister is going somewhere, they will have a bike, a policeman with a bike in front of them, asking people to leave the road for somebody that's supposed to build the road, but they are asking people to leave. If it was me, if all Camerooners was like me, they could have blocked them and even hinder them to move. Because you cannot come and you were the one that's supposed to build the road, but now they are asking people to leave that small space that we are having together, so that you should move faster. To go and do what? To go and do what? Because we know that the normal thing that they do in a country is to have, if we are having good road here in a center, we cannot have problem of food.
Okay.
Even in the east region, if they were road at Yokaduma and others, they can have many things in the east region that can come here to Yaoundé and go even to far north region. So the problem is the road. And if we want to solve this problem, we have to first of all know that in Cameroon they have good laws. The problem now is to apply them.
Okay.
Because the prime minister is the president of Kona Road.
Yeah.
We know it. So, but what is happening? They are collecting 500.
Okay.
In a gate, in a store gate. And they don't use that money to fix the road when the road got spoiled.
We got you.
That is why His Excellency destroyed the toll gate in Santa. You all know that.
And we have to use that example to destroy all those nonsense.
Are you saying that we should destroy all the
yes, that's what we have to do.
Let me
so
come
that
to you.
We don't have to pay 500 in a road that every time have to kill Cameroonians.
Thank you very much.
How many checkpoints are linking Douala Yaoundé?
We get your point. We get your point. Nelson Lambris.
500.
In those days, in the British Cameroon, where you and I came from, we have what we call the Public Works Department, who were stationed to move around, fill the different boreholes immediately. Those are some of the structures. It seems as if we don't have those aspects today in our society. And this brings us to the point where they say the road does not kill. But who then kills? Is it man actions on the road or man activities on the road? When I talk about activities, you find people who cook their food from their house with the oil in it, throw the water on the tar. You find drivers who are supposed to drive road walking car, but they would prefer to run away from the technical services. All our activities, is it not also contributing in destroying our roads, which in return is we are witnessing this high rate of accident in our society?
There's somebody that is being paid to do all those things that you just enumerated. And they sit in the offices. At the end of the day, they get money.
So should we rely on those billion to build houses? Should we rely on those people and see ourselves dying, or we should come up like Cameroonians and try to change things for ourselves?
ABEL SAMARI, I want to believe from your questions, and I have a very strong belief that we are still in a state and not in a jungle.
Okay.
In a state where there are rules and regulations to follow. Yeah. We are on earth and not in heaven. I'm happy that Pastor Adam is there. Apostle Adam, sorry. Yeah. God forgives and forget, but the law punishes on earth. That's the reason we have rules and regulation.
Okay.
Who is supposed to construct the roads? Who is supposed to maintain the roads? Who is supposed to use the roads? Who is supposed to respect the code of the road that exists in our country? We know exactly who is supposed to do what. But people fail in their assignment and their duties in Cameroon, and they lay the blame to the layman. If you want to blame all Cameroonians, it means we are in a jungle. We are no longer in a state. 100% of any accident on the road, I put it on the state. If somebody feels that he is the state, let the person take the blame. But I want to believe nobody is the state, but the state is everybody. By the end of the day, one of your callers just said that the road in a Mombo, it makes people go slow.
Yeah.
I think if you read the preamble of our constitution, every Cameroonian have a right to go and come. So you don't expect me that maybe I live at Simbok and I'm supposed to go to, I don't know, Miss Paul, and I take half of the day because the road is bad and I'm going slow because I don't want an accident to occur.
Time is money.
It means this country will never go an iota of development.
No, it's just road safety.
People, road safety, they say people run zero speed. Zero speed means you stand on the same position. It means you leave your house and you go and stand on the same position. Is that what we are clamoring for? Human beings are complicated. They are rational beings, but laws are there to if you provide good roads and you make the people that are supposed to control these vehicles and the drivers of the road, that I don't need to make a phone call and a driver's license be delivered to me, but I need to go to a driving school and actually learn how to drive. That I don't need to be talking on the phone while I am driving. That I don't need to drink while I drive. That I don't need that. Those are basic things of the society. I think it should not be like I am driving my car from Yaoundé to Douala, for example, and I meet the people who are supposed to control me as a person, and they blow a whistle as if we're in a football field, and I park my car about 1 kilometer away from them, and I straight back to them. They are not coming to check the state of the car. They don't know exactly what is happening. I just give my document, and some of them don't even check if the document is authentic. This is what we're trying to eradicate and fight for. If we do that, then Cameroon will be a better place for all of us all. It's not like we are in a church where everybody is supposed to be auto-disciplined. We are in a state where the rule of law puts you on the straight line.
Even in church,
that if you don't do, even in church, there are rules and regulations.
There are a lot of
there are rules and regulations.
They put people at bad bench.
Of course. So if we are in a state and there are rules of regulation, these rules and regulation needs to be. I've never seen a Cameroonian that the driver's license has been removed, reduced.
Degraded, yeah.
But I hear suspension of agency because they had an accident, and there is no actual clear cut on how the accident occurred, so that this same accident be prevented, not for it to happen tomorrow. But this agency or this driver is being suspended today, and the next tomorrow the driver is on the same road. Car with the same attitude. And then again, we need to be road. What we have in Cameroon are thoroughfares.
Not roads.
We need to be road.
What?
Thoroughfares, just like a path. What they call in pidgin English, conshot, just like a path. If you are going to Douala Yaoundé is one of the biggest cities. You don't need to enter onto another person's site to see because whether you like it or not, ABEL SAMARI, if you go slow on a highway, it's a crime. There is a standard speed that you need to drive on a highway. You cannot be driving on a highway as if you are in the town. So what I'm trying to say here is, if we're supposed to go to Douala and there are 3 cars going and 3 cars coming, okay, the person who does not want to run at the standard, maybe faster. People, you have friends that are out of Cameroon. They live in Yaoundé and they work in Bamenda.
Yeah.
They tell you, I live here, I have 2 hours drive. Nobody can actually tell you the number of minutes and hours for you to live here and go to Douala. They will guess. They will guess. Nobody will give you a standard time that you kick off your car in
Sometimes
Yaoundé,
when you leave
and
this
by
country,
this time,
you go to
everything
other
being
countries,
equal,
you enjoy
you are in
good
Douala.
roads.
Eh?
Sometimes when you leave this country, you go to other country, you enjoy
All
good
the cars we even have
I have taken the West African roads.
in Cameroon, the speeds
West
have been
African roads,
reduced. All the cars, the speeds have been reduced. That's the reason we'll keep on staying without developing, because time is the highest.
Time is a factor in terms of development. You cannot develop a country
that will go
if
slow.
It is terrible.
Can we move to our main topic?
We can't link Yaoundé to Douala. There's no link between a road between Yaoundé and Douala, which is a devilish thing. If we want to develop, then we have to move fast. The British man says time is money.
And money is time.
You cannot leave a bank. You're a banker. You leave to. No, it's so terrible.
So what should we do? Proposal.
I have
rapidly,
a proposal to add on this. One of the proposal is that all the Cameroonians, we should be conscious to ourselves, because I've also come to realize that most of the drivers in Yaoundé have learned how to drive, but in the laverie, in the washing point. Yeah. So they just learn how to displace cars in the washing point, and the next day they just go and bribe and have certificates, and they are on the road driving. So what I'm proposing is that we as Cameroonians in our own path, we should have that faith, that like we should be of good faith. Yeah. We should do things the right way. Even those that are delivering those how do you call them, those certificates or whatsoever for driving, at least they should do the right thing. They should not just look at the level of the money, but they should look at the lives of the Cameroonians that are at risk.
Okay. ABEL SAMARI, I think one of the solutions.
Yes.
Take for example.
Rapidly, we'll take our
foreign countries.
Our next topic.
Yeah, I'm not saying that the United States of America is the best of all the best, but I'm saying that if something is good, you copy. Foreign countries, for you to have a national ID card like the United States, it comes along with their driver's license. And in Cameroon, how are we supposed to educate ourselves to know how to respect the route, in schools, that factor or that point has been completely removed. Completely. That they don't teach students, I don't know what is citizenship or whatever, details for them to know some basic things, but we carry them far away from Cameroon to tell them things that they will never see till they die.
Can I take some messages? Let me start from those following us on our Facebook page. Tita says, good afternoon to you, sir, and your panelists. There is no sound. I think Irish Kemo have already solved that issue. We have Guy Stella. He says, good afternoon, Mr. ABEL SAMARI ABEL, and to your panel in the studio. Courage to you all. We have Ken, a listener. He says, greetings to you and your panelists. Mr. Moderator, please, I listened to the press review, and the main point that caught my attention is had to do with the state of roads in Cameroon. It is deplorable. The roads network in Cameroon is responsible for the daily deaths we recorded in a highway. One of the panelists said something very pertinent, and you seem not to agree with him. He said the government or our leaders does not have us, the citizens, at heart. The panelist is perfectly correct. Let me explain. Have you ever thought of how much the state collects on our highways annually in the toll gate? What is this money being used for? May God help us all in Cameroon. This is coming from Ken Jones. Viban says that let us move to our second topic. Our second topic, we are talking about the issue of foreign aid in Africa. There is a strategic document released by some African head of states who says that Africa in 2030, the year where there will be no foreign aid, zero foreign aid in Africa by the year 2030. And this is spearheaded by the Kenyan President William Ruto, the strategic document. But the question I want to ask, can Africa survive, gentlemen, without foreign aid?
100%.
I'm starting with you, Nelson Lambis.
100%. I buy that idea 100%. If you take, for example, I am not putting Maso against the state, but if something is good, you can copy.
Maso is accompanying the state.
It's accompanying the state. If you take the mutual assistance and so many other things, I want to explain something. I pity myself, and I pity my young ones, and I pity those that are still trying to learn what is not useful to Africans, especially those that are doing the economic studies rudimentary, and they are studying the systems of economics, that they are telling us before you grow you must belong to the capitalist system of economics, and all the other economic systems are not good. This is another way of colonization, but I want to believe that what actually is being practiced by the West and most of this country that they want us to remain poor is the known sovereign capitalist economic system. We need to believe in ourselves. At times we go and we lend money with a whole lot of conditions. ABEL SAMARI, I think if the state of Cameroon needs to carry out a development that is going to produce income, they can do what is known as, they say, the treasury bonds, even for 1,000. Everybody has a right to buy, and after they collect the money and they do something that is important. We've seen countries that are not going to beg and they are surviving. Most of the countries of Asia, ABEL SAMARI, honestly speaking, no country can ever become developed because of aid. No country can ever be built by another country. You must be your country by yourself. If you keep borrowing, if you keep begging, and then there is a normal saying in English that he who plays the pipers dictates the tune.
And that is where Wumi Bertrand, some of these African leaders are coming from, because when you look at their argument, they say that before the coming of the COVID-19 in 2019, the number of Africa was described as a very poor country. The number of Africans believed to be poor at that time was 449 million. And after the COVID-19, Africa has been moving to 478 million people by 2022 who were absolutely in poverty. And for the first time, Africa recorded after 25 years, Africa had its first global resilience in its economy. And the question is, they are fighting that by 2030 there should be no foreign aid, because they say the foreign aid has had more harm than good. What then is the importance of this foreign aid that they are giving to the African continent?
Yeah, to me, I think that you can only aid somebody or help somebody who is poor. And to the best of my knowledge, Africa is not all that poor the way we see it.
Okay.
And from the Kenyan president, I applaud him for his gestures, and I applaud him for his endeavor, and I applaud him for all the initiatives. But then, does he include into that initiative Francophone Africa? I think that should be the wrong thing to do, because by the year 2000,
it's the wrong thing.
By the year 2004, 2005,
yes,
we had the NEPAD, the new development, the new partnership for African development that was created, and it was jointly created by, I think, Thabo Mbeki, Olusegun Obasanjo, and Abdoulaye Wade. Those were the three leaders of the NEPAD. And what was the NEPAD out for? The NEPAD was out to bring a such initiative in order to make us to think that to increase the level of South-South cooperation, because South-South cooperation is more reliable than the North-South cooperation. So that's the issue. That was the idea. And what did we do of the NEPAD? NEPAD is dead and gone. Why? Because NEPAD was something that you could not bring such idea into the Francophone zone, to the French control zone, because they don't want anything development. To them, they believe that in a country like Cameroon, all Cameroonians should be thinking that I should be a civil servant. That is it. They should think that, because being a civil service is a means to keep people under poverty. All the youths are only thinking of how do I do to become a civil servant. Countries, families would mobilize 2 million so that you should enter into an office where, for you to gain that 2 million, you have to accept corruption. You have to embezzle to have back your 2 million. So you understand that in this atmosphere, we cannot happen. I believe that in the Anglophone countries, at least there are some few that we know, that there being a civil servant to them is somebody who has not actually succeeded in life that goes to become a civil servant. They believe in entrepreneurship. So I am saying that the president of Kenya, I think the idea is very good. But when it comes to our own stereotype, our own Francophone areas where we don't want to think anything development, we don't think everything. Just look at the mindset of every Francophone is talking on TV.
But how are we going to raise the capital?
Let me tell you,
if we don't go
when you have a small crisis in a village in the Francophone area, what do? Whosoever is talking, at the end of the day, nous attendons que le gouvernement vienne nous aider dans ces choses. Whereas there are some society where their mindset is different. They think that they have to mobilize themselves to solve their problems at their own level. You see, so you see that there are two different educational people have. Some believe that it's the government has to do everything. Some believe that they are supposed to have their. By the way, I always say this, and with a lot of happiness, that before the crisis in Northwest, we went to the Northwest. You come to believe that they don't care much about the government. They did their problem. They had their water schemes. Went to Kumbo. You saw the Kumbo water project.
They practice community work.
Practice community. It was something different. There, we don't tell people you can work with them. You can say, okay, we should by this time put an end to AIDS. You understand? But you cannot go to a country where they go and collect AIDS to come and give people to embezzle. Okay. You cannot do that.
Now, there is this lady of South African origin, and ever since the Paris summit, he has been spearheading this aspect of foreign aid. They call her Dambisa Moyo. He says that stop sending aid to Africa because the aid has not helped Africa in
it will never help us.
It has keep Africa in the shackle of poverty. Let's listen to her before we chat to a comment.
Fundamentally, I don't think Africa needs more aid. I think it needs less aid. It needs governments to be made accountable to the domestic citizenry and not accountable to donors. Africans stand in the hot African sun to elect their leaders. And it's those leaders who are charged with the responsibility of delivering social services and being accountable to their people. There clearly was a vacuum that has allowed the celebrity culture to seep in, but it would seem to me that no society would appreciate their whole policy and the future of their children to be dependent on celebrities that actually don't live in these contexts. Aid has become an industry. There are just way too many vested interests, and by and large, the criticisms that my book has been receiving are coming from from those quarters, people who actually have a vested interest to see the continuous cycle of Africa in despair so that they can justify their existence.
What sort of people are you talking about?
I'm talking about academics. I'm talking about people from the NGO community. I'm talking about people who are policymakers and politicians.
And look, let us also get the reaction of the president of Rwanda, Paul Kagame, concerning this subject.
Impact of European and American and Russian and Chinese interference is a raw wound. It is not something that is in the past. It is something that is happening as we speak. And therefore, when we speak to it, we are speaking to it to warn ourselves of the reality. When we speak about the Danidas and the NGOs, these are bodies whose raison d'etre is to ensure that we remain in a perpetual state of begging. That is what we are doing to warn ourselves. And we are not for 1 minute saying that we will shut ourselves out from the rest of the world. What we are saying is that we must define how we engage with the whole world.
Now, that is P.A. Lumumba, who was also part of that forum. Apostle Adam, you got Moyo saying that Africa does not need it. We can do it without it. And P.A. Lumumba says some of these aids giving back to Africa, the foreign aids that we say we should go and look for loan, we should go and borrow money to carry out our projects, is being given to us as a means to continue to keep the African continent under check and balances. Now, how do you think, like a politician who aspires to be in leadership, how can we come out from this mess? If at all we had women who say that we don't need it, Nelson says that we don't need it, but how can we come out not to need this aid? What can we do?
You know, Cameroon is a very, very rich country. We don't have problem of poverty.
But we are poor.
God have given Cameroon many kind of riches. The problem of Cameroon is mismanagement of the riches. Cameroon don't have to beg for aid, for external aid, because we have many diversity. We have many source of riches. That's what I wanted to say. We have many source of riches that we can use to make that every Cameroonian should be in peace. We living with a means to treat himself, to move up and down, to create riches, and then to give to his children or to a community the possibility to go forward. You see, so the problem is that, you know, in the Bible, when you see Bible is talking about a person that every time go and borrow, you cannot be free. You cannot be free. You cannot even express yourself.
Of course.
Because when you want to talk, they will say, hey, don't try.
Let's take this publicity.
Royal FM 88.4.
With MTN Plus, make all networks vibrate at the same low price. Dial *222# and receive more bonuses for more calls. What are we doing today?
Yes, thank you. Yes, you Pastor, you had the microphone.
You will always be a slave. And when you are owing somebody, you cannot express yourself as you want.
You don't even feel free.
You don't feel free.
Because every time you say, hey, don't forget you are owing me.
You are owing me. So you see, and then we are having,
you become ridicule.
We are having a kind of leaders that we don't merit. How can you go to China to go and borrow money to buy laptops? Laptop to come and billion. Distribute to the students. Then you go there, you borrow. I think it was 75 billion.
Exim Bank of China.
With that amount of money, you can have an industry that can, a factory that can produce millions of laptops.
Yes.
That young Cameroonian can use.
That can even come and train
Yes.
Cameroonians.
And again,
And then they went and bring toys to share to those students. That is no more helping them today.
Of course.
Because of that now. And then another thing, when they bring money like that, when they go and borrow like that, they will come and say special gift
from the head of state.
Of the head of state. Special gift.
Pastor Adam,
you have to pay.
Let me take this reaction from one of our listeners.
Okay.
Royal FM. Okay, coming to your second topic, Africa do not need foreign aid to survive. I keep saying it all the time. This is because diplomacy is a game of interest. When they give you with one hand, they take you with the other hand. If Africa decide to concentrate, to develop their resources, God-given resources that have been given to us, we don't need foreign aid to survive. We don't. African presidents should stop behaving as if we need these Western wars. The moment we start thinking of how do I build my own industry on my own, we'll forget about these people and we will grow. The thing is, they have suppressed us to that level where it is like, if they don't approve our things, then our things are not up to standards. Look at during COVID-19 period. During that period, African countries discovered their remedies. But what happened? WHO refused it because it was coming from Africa. We should stop relying on these people and do our things and go. That's what I'm talking about. If we keep relying on these people, it's like a child. The moment each time you feel that you need to take permission from your dad before you do anything, you forever remain under your dad for the rest of your life. But there is a time where you need to take your own independence yourself and you move to prove that you have grown. Africa should prove that you have grown. We have the resources, we have the manpower, we have the intelligence, we have everything, we have the technology. We should avoid this brain draining. Our children who are out there who are studying these things and they are talented, let them come back home and let's develop Africa. Africa don't need the Westerners. We don't need Europe.
Okay.
We don't need UN. We don't need IMF. We don't need the World Bank.
Thank you, Jones. Thank you. Thank you very much, Viba Jones. You too can do the same. Our number is 671-157-321, 671-157-321, 658-089125-620-377481. Oh, a voice note on 675595284. Yes, you are rounding up because
yes. You know when
we are almost.
Yes, you know when you say you give an aid to somebody, normally the person don't have to give you back what you gave him. You see, but in the international level, they will come and say, okay, you are having a problem of money, we will borrow you let's say
40 billion
or let's say 100 billion. So
even it is trillion,
solve the situation. You see, and then the people will go and collect that money. They will come and embezzle the money. You see, so now when the people will look, you came and took money here that you want to go and do this, but till today you did not do the thing.
Okay.
You see, and they will say that, okay, we had a problem, you know, in our country we have this and that, can you borrow again, can we have 40 million so that we should finish the work. They will give them again the 40 billion. Then when they give them that 40 billion,
yes,
they will come again and embezzle the money.
Okay, so one of the problems, if Africa has to survive from the aid, corruption must be end.
Let me learn, because that is the problem that we have today.
Yes.
You will pay, I will pay, our children will pay.
Okay.
Until the fourth generation, we have to pay, because when you are owing some person, you have to pay the money. So now the what we have to know is that when they do like that, they make Cameroonian to be a poor country. Okay. You see, because they borrow money to build a road, they do not do it. They do not do it. We got you. And then the final problem that we have is that we will pass our time paying
paying debt that we do not realize the project.
It's like, I will take example and I will land there.
Yes.
Let's say that you are a father and you have your family. You earn, let's say, 200,000 a month. You see, after having that money, you're supposed to pay your rent. You're supposed to
many other charges,
to pay all the charges that you have in your house. But if you take that money and you go to bar to go and drink, if you use that money to take prostitute and all this, then at the end of the day, your landlord will come to ask for the money. We say you don't have the money, let him wait for next month. You see, the rent that you have to pay this month, you have to pay double next month. With that, you are same 200,000. So you see, when you take money to do something, do the thing so that you should be free.
Okay.
So in this our country, we have to tell those who are leading this country now that if
you're running up, Pastor Adam.
Yes, as we are now like this, they don't have any means. I saw it that we are owing now more than 6,000 billion.
Okay.
Outside
let Mustafa say something first.
And 3,000 billion internally.
Okay, Pastor Adam,
it's terrible.
Mustafa.
Yes,
all of us people have said that African can survive.
Yes.
But how can we survive if we don't rely on this foreign aid? How can we within us raise this capital to be able to sponsor our developmental projects, to be able to realize our dream, and to be able to remove our people from the shackle of poverty? All right,
I will start by adding this. I think the problem, Africans can survive on their own, but the main problem here is that Africans are facing is the rate of longevity in power.
Leadership. Can we put it that way?
Let me put it this way. I will take this example. Let's take a little bit brief to the Bible. Let's look at the story of Isaac and his two sons, Esau and Jacob. You saw that the blessings that were supposed to be given to Jacob were instead given to another person. Why? Because of the old age of the father.
The blessing was supposed to give to Esau.
To Esau, Esau. But instead it was given to Jacob. Why? Because of the old age. Because of the age of the father, the blindness. That is to say that's the problem that Africans are facing. Because what the Africans leaders they live so long in power in such a way that at a certain point in time they cannot more react. We also know that at old age, people are forced to behave like children. For example, as age goes by, you are forced to behave like children. So these our leaders that have been living for so long in power. At a certain point in time, you see that they are being controlled by even instead those who they are supposed to be like they are.
So it's leadership. We got it there. One point is leadership.
The problem.
Yes,
the second thing that we are facing is embezzlement.
Okay.
Embezzlement. Still caused by what? Longevity in power and old age.
Okay.
Because you cannot more control the people that are your collaborators because of old age.
Okay.
Secondly, I think Africans can also live independently from aids that are being gotten from European countries. How can they do that? By doing what they can also. The Jangis does not only end at the level of you and I or people in a given. Even
the African countries
can merge together and contribute a certain amount of money that they can be helping themselves. I think it will help us.
That's why we have the African Development Bank.
Does it still exist? Do people contribute in it?
It exists, but it is not effective.
Okay. Now, how can we? Because most of the time we have seen even our leaders traveling abroad that they want to go and negotiate for us to be able to have finances. We are looking for solution.
See,
if Africa has to stand,
the truth is that
to sponsor his projects.
Let us be truthful, right?
Yeah.
We are never going to set our backs. That is to AIDS. Never. Why? Because AIDS or maybe loan of money is very, very essential in the lives of every state and every person. Like America, they say America is the richest country, but it's the highest debtor in the world.
Yeah.
Yes. Why? Because they are the ones, they get to the World Bank, they get to these institutions and they borrow some money. What for? For investment. If you borrow money, like Pastor just said, you go and buy laptop game toys to people, then what are you doing? You cannot go to a bank, a microfinance, and borrow money to go and feed your family.
And Cameroonians, they have good projects that they can do that. They are well trained, but they don't give them that opportunity.
When you borrow money, it's for investment.
Some Cameroonians even go out of the country to learn how to fabricate such stuff. When they come to implement their own here in Cameroon, taxes will drive them away from the country.
Okay. So
it's not, they are not helping us.
What is important is what we do with the assistance, what we do with the aid, rather than saying that we don't want it at all, because even big countries are very rich. Rely too on that. Okay. So it is the problem is, what do we do with it? Now, it is also true what Pastor said, that if you rely on somebody who gives you money all the time, you will not be able to point him a finger. You will not be able. Your fingers will always be very short when you want to point them your fingers. So the truth is that our African leaders, especially the francophone, those of the francophone extraction, because it's very, very important. If you look the way Zuma, how do you call him, Cyril Ramaphosa was talking in France, he would talk a lot of liberty. Talking a lot of liberty to the French leaders, whereas Mr. Biya cannot do the same, or the Sassou Nguesso cannot do the same. So what we are trying to say is this:
you say that about
they cannot do the same? Why? They cannot do the same. Why? Because they are perpetually on an aid scheme. They are perpetually on an aid scheme. We know the other day, even the Seattle was talking about that. About it's how the Paris Club. The Paris Club is always on our neck to get to collect their money. So, and you know that when you invest a lot, when you give much money in a particular house, or in a particular village, or in a particular town, or in a particular country, you seem to control all the policies there. Okay, you're the one telling them that, okay, you go like this, you go like that. That's why you see that most of our francophone, anglophone countries seem to be more free than the francophone.
More developed,
more developed, more free. You see, than the francophone countries. So what I was saying about the Kenyan president is that I think it's a good dream. It's a very good dream. But if he wants to realize his dream, he should kick out francophone Africa from that dream. Because Nepal, I'm saying that Nepal was. My brother was talking about Jangi. Nepal was created for that purpose. But because some African countries came into Nepal, the dream, in fact, collapsed. The dream of Nepal. It was a huge dream. I think it was Nepal was created within 2004 and 2005. But it was the dream died because of people came and were bringing ideas from France, telling us how it cannot work, telling us how if they don't want to please, they have to please their master of France and all the rest. Whereas when the Nigerian wants to come out with their project, they don't think about Britain. What would Britain say? What would Britain have to do with the policies in Nigeria? They have nothing. What about Ghana? They have nothing to say about their economic policy in. That's why they are free. That's why they can talk in front of the British Prime Minister with a lot of
dexterity in them.
They don't have any fear in them. Whereas with our African francophone countries, they are always afraid that by the tomorrow they might have a coup d'etat, or maybe a rebellion is sponsored. So it is very important for us to know what we do with aid, rather than taking aid to invest. Our leaders take them to buy laptops, to go and give I don't know what left and right. People are embezzling it, and so we start paying it. Our children and children, because if we're talking about let me say globally 1,000 billion, how do we pay that type of money? 1 trillion. How do we pay that of money?
It takes years.
How do we? So we continue to live in abject poverty. We have no light, no water. We cannot.
And the funniest thing is that amount of money is not even used. Can we go on embezzled? That's the problem.
We have no hospitals. We have nothing. No schools. No roads. Because we don't have. We only count on schools in Yaoundé. In our villages, what our school do we have there? Do teachers send there? Do they actually teach there? How many teachers do they have? So we see that when we talk about Cameroon, we count only on Yaoundé and Douala. That's all about Cameroon. In the other
even to that level, it is not even up to standard. It's not up to standard.
So
that is the reason why we of the
Popular Action Party, yes,
we are calling on Cameroonians to register massively for the upcoming 2025 elections.
Can the solution come from politics?
Yes.
In this African continent, if your party take over power tomorrow, would they not go and look for foreign aid?
No.
From the Western countries?
I don't think so, because as I earlier said, I said the problem we are facing is the longevity in power and OH. But when you look at the president of our party, it's very dynamic and very active, right to the level of the Secretary General.
So you really have the money?
So the
what will be the strategies?
The strategies that we are going to have is that we are going to do everything possible to limit the level of taxation levied on those those of our brother have gone for greener pastures and have come back to invest in Cameroon. So much so that it will give them the opportunity to create many enterprises that will train Cameroonians. At least behind that we have something that at least we can
something good can come out.
Yes.
Yeah, we are almost moving out from this subject, but I want to find out something from you, Apostle Adam. When we talk about Formula 8, a lot of people think that it is only in the domain of money. It's only in the domain of military. Of military. But don't you think that in a country where we still have a lot of problem with industrialization, we need to have this 8 and call our people, if there is something we like Cameroonians, we like Africans, we could do, is to call for our leaders to be able to implement this this Formula 8 that we receive in the appropriate way, so that at the end of the day we should have development. But don't you think that within us, the Africans, we are not yet ready for us to liberate some of these aspects? Because he do make mention of something which is very pertinent, that when you compare the English speaking and the Francophones speaking, it gives you two categories of people who find it very difficult to adapt in the African continent.
Yes, it's very normal. You know, English countries like Ghana, Nigeria, even Rwanda now, yes, they have the truth independence. But Francophone zone like Cameroon, Congo, and others, they don't have.
They are still limping.
They are still in the very terrible condition. So they have masters that have to dictate them what they have to do, what they have to have, and then even to provide to person that can come after them. Yes. So and then if you don't have that liberty of producing.
Yeah.
And consume what you produce. You cannot go. In Cameroon, they still talk about publicity, maybe to please people. They talk about rise of Ndop. They talk about rise of
Jaguar.
The Jaguar.
Yes. I ate the Jaguar rice when I was out of this country.
And it's very dear.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you so very much.
Thank
you so very much, Apostle Adam.
When you produce things in our country, they would take that. They would say that it's fake things.
Okay.
They don't encourage you to.
We don't believe in our own.
To promote the product so that Cameroonians should stop bringing things from outside.
Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
May God bless you for us. Thank you very much, Mustafa, for coming. Wish you well and the Popular Action Party.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you so very much. Continue to accept our condolences. We are with you.
In the modern atmosphere, we still try to live.
To sustain. Thank you. Joining me in the studio is Jean-Marie Anaba. Good afternoon to you, Jean-Marie.
Good afternoon, ABEL Samari. Good afternoon to your guests and our listeners. Oui.
Tout c'est calme.
Ce n'est qu'en France qu'il n'y a pas de calme.
Il y a quoi là-bas?
Ici, ça va.
Ok, ça va. Oui. Mais là-bas, il y a un peu
Oui, il y a un peu de violence. Quelques temps de violence. C'est vrai que nous parlons du Cameroun.
Nous parlons du Cameroun. Et à Barometer Politique, what are we going to be discussing this
Oui, nous aurons presque 3 arrêts. Le premier, c'est sur la vie des partis politiques. La mort du chairman a remué les dissensions. Il y a des querelles autour de la caution là-bas, qui est passée de 50 000 à 7 millions de francs CFA. Est-ce que c'est un passage en force pour succéder au chairman? Ça devient compliqué. Est-ce que c'est un passage en force de M. Joshua aussi? On parlera plus du digital. Nous sommes à quelques 2 ans de la présidentielle. Les discours qui sont propagés sur la toile en ce moment nous font déjà peur Il est donc temps de commencer à sensibiliser pour qu'on ait une élection qui sera au calme. C'est vrai qu'en 2018, on a reçu nos amis de Facebook ici. Donc, est-ce que ce sera le cas? Est-ce que le digital n'est pas un danger pour le Cameroun pour ce qui est de son processus électoral? Autant de questions qu'on va se poser tout à l'heure.
Listeners, don't move a muscle because Barometric Politics comes up next. Stay glued to the company of Royal 88.4 FM and stay blessed.
Dans un instant, sur votre radio, c'est la pub.
Up next is a commercial page.
I say, get me the hot for your side. No worry, Momo Cash day for you. Borrow up to 100,000 francs with Momo Cash and pay back with no fees in 3 days maximum. Dial *126#, then select option 6. What are we doing today?
La rentrée scolaire 2023-2024, c'est pour bientôt au complexe scolaire bilingue international Espérance, situé à Mini-Prix Bastos, de la maternelle au secondaire, anglophone et francophone, système international Cambridge de la 6e en terminale. Les élèves ont des ordinateurs privés avec une plateforme de révision. Et ce n'est pas tout, salle de classe climatisée. Les cours du soir entrent en jeu à partir de cette rentrée scolaire. La tenue est offerte, infrastructure sportive disponible. Le complexe scolaire bilingue international Espérance est prête à accueillir vos enfants pour une formation de qualité. La sécurité est à la pointe. Une équipe de professionnels vous attend pour des renseignements et de vous inscrire massivement. Pour en savoir, depuis la première année d'ouverture, nous avons fait 100% au CEP, au BPCE, au probatoire, au baccalauréat, y compris le DCE Ordinary and Advanced Level. Nous sommes situés à Mini-Prix Bastos. Infoline 661 81 59 24 665 79 95 69. Complexe scolaire bilingue international Espérance. Nos enfants nous sont chers, tournons-leur au meilleur.
Vive la Masso!
Masso, acte 3, l'apothéose. Dimanche 9 juillet 2023, au Palais Polyvalent des Sports de Yaoundé, avec le tirage au sort de la grande tombola des mutualistes à partir de 14h. Un show live qui met en scène notre diversité culturelle. Sous le feu des projecteurs, Jubilé Press Team. Tamoudé Am. Le libérateur, Simon Longuet.
Et moi, quand je suis encore
Remestar. Patoubas. Chris M. Jackie Bio.